today I'm going to be telling you guys a very funny story of how I traveled alone at 14, just 14, and I landed in the wrong location, like in the wrong location. I also met the love of my life, but that is just a subplot. So you guys, let's get straight into the story. And welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for joining me again. And if you're new here, my name is Ayanfe, Ayeni, and I basically make lifestyle tutorial videos. So feel free to join the family by subscribing to my channel and turn on my post notifications so you never miss any of my videos. With that said, let's get straight into today's video. I'm going to be doing my very first story time. It all started when my mom decided that I should take a little vacation before resuming school, which was last year, August. So we decided that I would spend a few days with my auntie in the US, Houston, Texas to be specific. But my mom had work, my sister had work, so nobody could follow me. I had to go on my own. And since it wasn't really a planned trip, we couldn't get a straight flight from Nigeria to the US. So we had to get a flight from British Airways. It was the closest date available and I had to resume school, so we just went for it. So yeah, British Airways, and you know that British Airways is obviously going to have a stopover in the UK. Guys, remember, my final destination is supposed to be Houston, Texas. So yeah, let's get into it. So the day came that I was supposed to travel. There's no international airport in Ibadan, so we had to go to Lagos. We left Ibadan around 12, even though my flight was like 10 in the night. But you know, African parents and traveling, you have to get to the airport 10 hours before your flight. I'm so glad we actually left early because there was so much traffic. But even with the traffic, we still got to the airport like really early, like a few hours before the flight. And when we got there, they had not started checking in, but there was a line, so we just stayed on the line. So directly in front of me on this line was this, let's call him chocolate goddess, this dark skinned guy. Like, you guys know, like, he was like everything. He now had this Nigerian British accent again. God, he was like dark and like he was sure like everything. And then he was with his mom, I was with my mom. We made eye contact, but we couldn't say anything because of the parents. So yeah. So eventually the line started moving, and obviously I dropped my luggages, got my boarding pass, and my mom left because she had to find a hotel to spend the night before going back to Ibadan the next day. I went through security, and after that I went to KFC to get something to eat because I hadn't eaten since I left Ibadan. So when I got to KFC, this chocolate goodness was right there sitting down, and God, this guy was so cute. Anywho, I ordered chicken, I ordered chips, burger, ice cream. Was it 7-Up or Sprite or Pepsi, whatever. After ordering everything, my card declined. God, I was embarrassed. Damn God, I'm embarrassed! And like, I just had to go and use the ATM and come back. Came back, ate my food, then this my chocolate goodness now stood up and he was walking towards me. My heart was already doing boom, 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 just for him to walk out. Like, he wasn't walking towards me, he was actually walking towards the door. I was frustrated, but we moved. I finished eating, then I went to my boarding gate looking for my chocolate goodness, but like, he wasn't there. Anywho, I just sat down. I texted my mom, oh, I'm here already. Eventually it was time to fly. I got on the plane and my chocolate goodness was sitting right behind me. I was so excited, but I was just like, why can't he be sitting beside me? Just for him to realize that he was sitting on the wrong seat. I was actually supposed to sit beside me because I had the aisle seat, then he had the middle seat. And you guys, okay, midway into the flight, he talked to me. He tapped me actually, and he said, oh, excuse me. He wanted to pass because, you know, I was obstructing the way. And I felt really flattered because on a normal day, there's so many rude people on the plane. They just pass, they don't even like. But he was actually so polite. On a normal day, I'd have been angry, like, why are you tapping me, but you know, this guy was too cute to even vex for. And then like, there was a point where he was sleeping, and God knows I was watching him sleep. I don't care if he realized that I was watching him sleep, but yeah, I watched him sleep, and I'm proud to say it. Anywho, eventually the flight came to an end. Landed in the UK, and obviously he left because he was probably going back to school, and this was where like my trip just went downhill. Like bad things just started happening. So immediately I got to the UK, like in my first 5 minutes I was already lost. Like, where am I supposed to go for connecting flights? I did not know where to go. I was confused. A normal person would ask questions, but me, a whole me, Ayanfe of Ibadan, ask question because of what? I figured it out by myself. Oh, it took me like 30 minutes. I went to the toilet, I took pictures in the toilet, I made videos in the toilet. I came out, I started looking again. Eventually, I figured it out. I figured where I was supposed to go. I went through security again, and then I went to the general waiting area because they hadn't released the my boarding gates because the flights were still later in the day. So I just went to the general waiting area, sat down. I texted my mom, "Oh mom, I'm here, my best friend." I texted my aunt I was supposed to go and see so she can know, how far. Then after that, I was just there using my earpiece and doing my word search because I love taking my word search when I travel. And so, God, I feel like I sound like a spoiled child. I didn't even know how time went. I just got a text from my mom that, Ayanfe, are you already boarding? I'm like, what? I'm not even at my boarding gate. I just got a time. Jesus Christ. I went to the that board, the flight information, whatever. I checked. I was in the wrong terminal. I had to take a train to where I was supposed to be. Like, what? So like I just started walking really fast. I was like, you'd expect me to run, but as a big girl that I am, I can't run for shit. So yes, I was walking really fast, got to the point where you take the train, took the train. Thank God that London airport is not even that big. I mean, Heathrow, whatever they call the place. But my boarding gate was at the end of the whatever. I was just walking really fast. By the time I got there, I was the second to the last person to board. Like, do you know what it means to be the second to the last person to board? That means they've probably been calling your name out, like, blah, 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 you're delaying flight, whatever, to this thing. Like, it was crazy. So this last person to board was this woman, this Ghanaian woman. And then she tried to talk to me in their language. And I was like, what? And then she's like, you don't speak. And I'm like, no, sis. Like, she saw my passport that was green and hers is green, so she thought I was Ghanaian. But wait, do I even look Ghanaian? Like, anywho, she thought I was Ghanaian. I'm like, no, like, ECOWAS, we all have this greenish passports, do we? I don't know, but I think we do. So we both had the green passport. She thought I was Ghanaian. And she was like, oh, are you traveling alone? I'm like, no, my mother is in my head. Of course I'm traveling alone. And you guys, during this trip, the most annoying thing was people kept staring at me. Like, I don't know if they were staring at me because I had orange, yellow, and white braids, or because I was young and traveling alone, but these people were staring at me and I wasn't even having it. Anyway, she was talking shit. I ignored the woman. I entered the plane. Thankfully, on this flight, my whole row was for me alone. So yeah, this flight was really long. I can't even remember how long, but it was really long. Like, they served meal like 2 times. That's how long it was. And so midway into the flight, this man calls me. He's sitting alone at the back. He looks really creepy. And he calls me to come and sit beside him. And like, I didn't want to be rude, so I just went. And then he was asking me like, oh, what's my name? Where am I going to? Or why am I traveling alone? Where are my parents? And then I was just giving him one-word answers because I was so uncomfortable. And then he was like, oh, don't be scared of me. I'm a pastor. And I'm like, do you know what pastors are doing? Pastors be doing the most these days. I wasn't really having it. I just told the man that, nigga, I'm going back to my seat. Like, I didn't say it like that, but I wasn't having it. I went back to my seat, sat down alone, tried not to look at the guy for the rest of the flight. Especially in the air, the flight was taking longer than usual. I was like, what's going on? Then there was just this announcement from the pilots. There was an announcement from the pilot, and it was like, get ready for landing, arrival, whatever they call the thing, in Dallas, Texas. How they pronounce it? Is it Dallas? Or you shall get the point. And I'm like, wait, uncle, calm down. We were supposed to land in Houston, Texas. What exactly is going on? I was in shock. I did not know what to think. My mind had already gone far. Then he was not like, due to weather circumstances, we won't be able to land in Houston. Apparently, Houston was flooded. Like, the airport was flooded, and like, what am I going to be in Dallas? Like, I don't know anybody. How will I get? Jesus, my mind had gone far. You guys, this is not the end of the story. There's still a lot of drama. We landed in Dallas. They told us to get down, get our luggages, and there will be a bus waiting outside for us to take us to the hotel. Then they'll make arrangements for us to go to Houston the next day, right? So I got my luggages. I was out. I was in the US. Yes, people have arrived. I felt a bit bad in the USA. So I got on the bus. So we were on the way to the hotel. Then madness started. This woman, she just parked in front of the bus, and then she came out of the bus, and then she was like, "You hit me, you hit my car, you did my car." And I swear, I don't want to swear, but I swear, we did not touch this woman. And she was like, "I'm gonna call the cops, I'm gonna call the cops." And we literally had to wait for the police, the cops, to come there. Like, I don't know how to explain. Like, I just think that, can this one happen in Nigeria? You wait for police to come and settle matter. Well, we had to wait for the cops, and then they came, they settled the whole matter, got to the hotel, and God, phase 2 of the struggle began. There were so many people at the hotel already, because there were like 3 buses or 2, and then everybody was struggling to get a room. And obviously they gave pregnant people priority, people traveling with children priority, and old people, disabled people, all of those ones, they gave them priority. So the rest of us, we were just there looking like monk. I waited before I got a room. But it was worth it, because they gave me this double bedded room. Like, the room literally had 2 beds, and like, all this for me, I was elated. I just entered, I took a shower, and I just went. I was just happy. Then I just heard this knock on the door. Like, somebody was knocking on the door. I was looking for me. How do you know I'm here? Then all of a sudden, this Ghanaian woman was here again. She was like, "Oh, do I have airtime?" She wants to call her husband. I'm like, "Woman, have you heard of something called hotel Wi-Fi?" Yeah. And then I had to teach her how to do all of that. Then she was like, "Oh, I should go and eat. There's free dinner." I was not having it that night. Like, I didn't really want to eat, so I just did not eat. I just ignored her, and I paid for it the next day. Fast forward. I slept, woke up the next day, had my bath, made some coffee, because there was coffee in the room, and like, I went downstairs and with my luggages and everything, because they told us that we were going to Houston. So like, everything, and then I asked, when I gave her the key of my room, I asked her, "Oh, is there free breakfast?" And they were like, "No, they only made arrangements for dinner last night." I was like, "Yeah, they made by me, and I should have eaten." I was hungry. Anywho, I got on the bus. It was a really long drive to Houston, but we finally got to Houston. I called my auntie. She sent her husband to come and pick me. Finally, I was home. I ate. I was just so happy. And you guys, this is the end of my story. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and comment your favorite part of the story. And if you haven't subscribed, like, how can you watch up to this point and you're still not subscribed to my channel? You guys, the goal is 1,000 subscribers, so let's do it. Let us do it. So yeah, thank you for watching this video, and see you guys next week.